Buenos días, buenas tardes, or buenas noches, depende en la hora. I want to talk to you a little bit about how to improve your grade, which means you'll also be improving your learning, and or how to get going again in Spanish. If you have been working through and completing every assignment as you get to it and referring back to grades to see my comments and redoing anything, then you're in a good space. However, if you've been going through and skipping some of the more time-consuming assignments, maybe because you didn't have time at that moment or because you kind of want to wait to get to it, and then just don't get back to it, that's going to have a huge impact on your overall grade. And then also some of you are like, but I am submitting everything. Well, you may not be submitting everything to the quality that I'm really looking for or the completeness that I'm looking for. All of these things to help you get started again, to help you improve your learning, which will also improve your overall grade. Grades right now at this point is a place to go in and look. So some of you are already going to grades, but you're skipping all the way down to the practice activities to check and see what's missing there. Well, those are only worth 35% of your overall grade. You need at least a 60% to pass the course, which means there's absolutely no way that you can pass the course just by doing the practice activities. The three most important parts in which you are needing to use the Spanish and practice using the Spanish are at the top. They're the assessments with 30% of your overall grade, discussions with 20% of your overall grade, and voice activities worth 15% of your overall grade. If that's all you did were those three sections and you earned an A on all of them, you will pass the class. You won't earn an A on the class, but you will pass the class. So let's look at these really quickly. Now, in here, the assessments, there aren't a lot, but notice, so for this particular student, everything's been submitted, but incomplete. So here, one of the big ones worth a lot within the exam is the voice recording. I still want you to do this. So you can always click back onto the exam itself, and then you click on View Assessment, and in there you can get to the prompt as well as a couple of the links to the voice recording. The audio pal allows you to use just a plain old phone. You don't have to have a microphone for it. And then you need to email them to me. So that is one thing to look at. The discussions. This is a big one that you need to remember to come back to. It's not just a one-shot deal, okay? So missing ones. Notice in the front, we have a U, a number, an S, and a number. The U stands for unidad or unit, and so you know which unit to go into. The S stands for sesión or session. So this one is going to be found in Unit 1, Session 2. So that's how you can know, oh, I can just pop right back in, or I can go look for it as needed. Those of you who are behind and you're like, you know what, missing big sections, this is something to pay attention to because, you know what, let's go look and see, is all of Session 2 missing? There is that possibility. Because notice down here for this student, this is something that needs to be completed with me, but it's also found in that same session. To me, that's a red flag that, oh, that session may have been skipped. Okay, so with that, you can go back in and complete that. Here we have a couple, oh, they've been done. Whoops, and I can see a typo that I did there. It should be pasar instead of pasat. Now I can click on these 4 squares and that pulls up the rubric. Now let me, oh, I can't get it just to move, so I'm gonna have to move it this way. All right, so on here, for some reason in the needs improvement column, it doesn't always hold the highlight, but you can see the number on the side. So basically, we can see in the first one, oh, you need to make sure that you have made comments to at least 2 of your classmates. That's a pretty easy thing to go back in and do. Then the other one here is make sure you've made 2 comments with at least 1 of them. So in your original post at this point, if somebody has replied back, you reply back to them, and now you have 2 because you started the conversation, they responded to you, and then you respond back. That's 2. Another way is you've responded to somebody, they've responded back to you, and then you respond back to them. Once again, that's 2, and both of you have done 2 then in that case. Make sure that you're asking simple questions. This one happened to, so that you're practicing asking those questions, and that's this bottom portion here. So if somebody's asked you a question, make sure you're answering it and make sure that you are asking questions. So in here, this student has not replied to 2 people. It makes sense then that you can do both of these things by going back to the discussion, replying to 2 people, and making sure one of those, at least one of those replies, is a question. Now you've hit 2 of them. Okay? And that's true of every discussion. Every discussion requires that. All right. So notice that is here and here. I do want those things to be improved. So that is one place that I need everybody to do that if you're having a low overall grade in discussions. This student is doing a very good job with voice activities, which is not typically the norm for people who are having low grades, who are earning low grades. There is one thing that's missing and one that was upcoming yet to be done. But otherwise, here are some comments, but you can see that this person is okay. Once again, we can look at, here's the units, here's the session, so you can go back and find it or click straight through. Practice activities, most of you are doing well. If we remember from back up here, there was the unit 2s in both of the sessions that were missing for discussions. So if we come down the practice activities, we can look and see, are there any chunks of missing? This student is doing an excellent job of completing missing assignments, or not missing, practice assignments. So that's good. But in here, you can see that there are some that are lower. So you can use your notes, go back in. If you're not sure why it's low, you can contact me and I'll go in and I'll look at it so that you can complete that. Those are some of my suggestions on how to attack this. If you are behind, make sure that you start in wherever you've left off and move forward, completing assignments as you get to them. Most importantly, contact me so that I can help. I hope this has been helpful. Hasta luego.